I'm Doug Doyle with The Art of the Story. Marcus Miller is primarily known as a bassist, but he's really a multi-instrumentalist, songwriter, composer, and producer. He spoke with WBGO host Pat Prescott recently about some of his favorite gigs, including one with the late Luther Vandross.
It's funny because you asked me to tell the story about, meeting David Sanborn and playing with Luther and the studio experiences, and it all was happening at the same time. Each of these stories was happening all together. I was doing sessions in New York, playing with Roberta Flack, and Luther and I were doing gigs with Roberta on the road. And one day on the way home from a gig, Roberta calls me over. We were on a plane, and she calls me to her seat, and she says, "I'm firing you and Luther." I go, "Why are you firing us? We're doing a great job." She says, "You guys are too expensive, and you have no business playing with me anymore." She must have gone over her finances with her accountant, and her accountant probably said, "You got to get rid of those two, okay?" Because we were
expensive ones.
The expensive ones, you know what I mean? I don't know. I was very young and wasn't really aware of that stuff, but she says, "Anyway, listen, I see you doing great things, Marcus. I see you not playing bass in anybody's band unless you've produced their album, right?" She says, "I see you playing with the greats like Miles Davis, right?" And I'm like, look to myself, Miles Davis, this is 1979. Miles hasn't played a note since 1975. I don't even know if he's alive. She's just being nice as she fires me. You know what I mean? But within a year, Pat, Miles makes a comeback, or at least maybe 2 years, Miles makes a comeback. And I get a random call. I'm on some session for an R&B group, and the note says, "Call Miles." And I said, wow, I'd heard that maybe he was, around, but I didn't believe it. It was Miles Davis. And he said, "Hey, man, can you be at Columbia in a couple of hours?" "This really you?" He said, "Yeah, mother." I said, okay, that's Miles. From what I heard, that's Miles, And within a couple of hours, I was in the studio with Miles Davis. You know what I mean? It was just a surreal experience.
Bassist Marcus Miller with the great Miles Davis. You can hear Pat Prescott's entire interview with Marcus Miller at wbgo.org/music. I'm Doug Doyle, WBGO News.